meeting.
Okay.
Ready to go?
Yes, special
Okay.
meeting. Still want to not come back.
Council, senior management team, I see we
here
have
now.
quorum. I
Finish it.
hereby call this meeting of the July 25th Policy and Priorities Meeting in session. So,
Okay.
first of all, any pecuniary interest from anyone on council?
Agenda first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Adopt the agenda. Okay, after reviewing the agenda, anyone have, I'm sorry, yes,
I'd like to make an amendment, Mr. Chairman, that we defer Article 4, new business, to a special meeting and continue with the meeting starting at item 6, the department reports, due to the time of night.
Discussion? No discussion.
Cheering.
All in agreement.
Couldn't hear a pin drop.
Well,
Okay,
For the
so
second
vote on
part.
that amendment. All those in favor?
at the time.
Oh, wait.
Well, we'll just continue until we get close to 10, and then I have a motion to suspend.
Okay.
Okay, so,
What was the motion?
That we defer all of
Defer
it.
all of number 4 and continue the meeting at number 6.
Okay. So that was carried, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're just calling for the vote.
yeah, all those in favor of the motion? Yes, carried.
Discussion around any of it, or what?
I-
Whatever, never mind.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, let's go back, my mistake.
Talking more than they already have,
Yeah.
just keep going.
Discussion on the motion.
I only have two comments. Number one, when we bring this thing back, I would like the planning partnership to bring it back and have a specific meeting specifically for dealing with the bylaw. That's an important document before it goes into the public realm.
Yep.
And with the engineering design criteria, the question I wanted to ask was, have we had meetings or an informal open house session with the contractors / developers in our area to have a look at these engineering design criteria? They're far more detailed than any of us need to get into, but there's expertise there that we want to know that they're on board, or they may have positive suggestions, such as their comments for our site plan book. So, those are, Mr. Chair, those are my two comments.
Mr. CEO, any comments on the regulations?
No, Mr. Chairman, I think, the plan for the zoning bylaw was to have the authors come down and do a presentation. The intention was to get it in front of council to read it as long as you can possibly stand it, and then, and then have the presentation, but the suggestion from the councilor is fine, we can accommodate that whenever the special meeting is set, we'll have those two consultants come down and do a comprehensive presentation to council.
Okay, and how about the engineers' reports and
We
specifications?
have not, I don't believe, had any type of public consultation, open houses on that. Again, this is sort of the first presentable draft. It's taken us some time to get to this point. So again, the intention was to get it in front of council, get them not necessarily understanding all of it, but at least familiar with here's what it is, and then giving some direction on next steps. So if the direction is to have some public consultations, that's fine. But if that's been deferred, perhaps that direction can be given when it's dealt with at the special meeting.
Okay, that's fine.
So what motion are we,
Just call the motion.
So
Oh,
we'll
pretty
have a
good.
motion to
Oh,
defer items under 4, and then a motion on the amended
August
agenda.
22nd, so.
Well, I know that.
first, we're gonna call a motion to defer.
So
Before
we
the
have a motion on the floor to defer everything under item 4.
As long as
Okay.
it's done
So
before.
there's a
it gets to
motion
public hearing.
being put forward to defer all items under 4 to a special meeting of council.
That's fine.
Okay, so do we have to also talk about the amendment, or is that? we
That
just
is
do
the
amendment.
Oh, that is the
amendment.
amendment, okay. All those in favor of that amendment? Okay, we're good.
Now we do the agenda as amended.
Okay, and then to review the agenda as amended, all those in favor? Okay, we're good, motion passes. Carried. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now you ask for continuing.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Okay, so that was the agenda, I'm sorry. So now, anyone have to disclose pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we're good, thank you. Clerk, please note that. Okay, now we just went from 4 down.
Okay.
2 minutes each, Marvin.
Okay.
Start there.
Okay. So a motion put forward by Catherine King that Policy and Priorities Committee receive the June 2016 Community Planning and Development Department report for information. Any discussion? Okay, we'll vote on the motion. All those in favor?
Mr. Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Singer's Drain, it was raised earlier at council by Councilor Durley. Anything about the Singer's Drain and the process on that?
Mr. Chair, through you, we are meeting with the engineering consultant on Wednesday morning this week. He's finalized his report and so we're going to get a copy of it and review it with him on Wednesday. And then it will be coming back through the process. There'll have to be a public meeting and get it back before the council agenda.
Okay, thank you. I had a member of the public ask me about it as well, a person that it affects their property. So last time we did a public meeting on this, we brought it at committee and it was clear that there was still work to be done. So a separate meeting, I think, would be in order so that issue would be dealt with. So if we can give some consideration to that, I think it'd be important.
Certainly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, on the motion, all those in favor? Motion carries. Motion put forward by Gary Accursi, the Policy and Priorities Committee received the June 2016 Corporate Services Department report for information. Discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Motion carries. Motion put forward by Councillor Rybiak, that Policy and Priorities Committee received the June 2016 Fire and Bylaw Services Department report for information. Discussion? All those in favor?
Which one says public works?
Motion carries. Okay, motion by Councillor Accursi that Policy and Priorities Committee received the June 2016 Human Resources Department report for information. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Motion carries. Motion again from Councillor Accursi that Policy and Priorities Committee received the June 2016 Public Works Department report for information. Any discussion?
Sorry, we're now on.
Councillor,
I have several items. I hope we can get through them very quickly.
go ahead.
There was discussion of Pickwick Place streetlights and Pelham Skate Park lighting replacement brought to mind the need for Fenwick and downtown lights. Just wondering what the status is with regard to those globes.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the parts for the globes were received. I'm just not sure of the status of when the contractor will be able to do the install. He didn't have everything, from what I understand, in one shipment because it came from the States. So I'm not sure if he's waiting, so it's one install and one fee. But I have had several requests from people asking what the status is as well. It's as soon as he can. He knows that the local contractor lives
Thank
close
you.
by.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm pleased to hear progress. Had a question with regard to the bridges. There's a proposal for 3 bridges, essentially $1 million apiece, one of which serves 54 people a day. The other 2 aren't really huge numbers either. We're spending $1 million on a bridge on Sawmill. I don't remember what those numbers were in terms of people using it, but just wonder whether a brief explanation might be provided with regard to why the numbers are so big in places where the usage is so limited.
Have any questions?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the usage of the roadway doesn't make an impact. I mean, if it were heavy industrial traffic, yes, but it's a local road, doesn't make an impact except the width and the span. So regardless if it's 50 vehicles or 200 vehicles, it's built the same way. The engineering standards apply and the legislative requirements apply, regardless
This
of
issue,
that.
yeah.
Right. So, as I understand it then, these meet a minimum standard that's required, and that's just the cost of achieving the minimum standard of a bridge that would be acceptable in those places?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, you might recall, Councillor Junkin asked last fall, I believe, about just perhaps considering replacing the structures where we can with more steel culverts, which is considerably less cost. Not as great of a reduction in cost as you would suspect, and with a much shorter lifespan. So that said, and the requirements from the engineering perspective, the bridge engineer doesn't recommend that replacement be done without a concrete structure for lifespan of the asset. It's just not value for your money.
Thank you, I appreciate the answer, and I appreciate that we'd rather keep the road open than not replace the issue, so I appreciate that. One more item, if I may.
Can I,
Oh, wait, I'm
just
sorry.
on that issue, Mr.
Go
Chair?
ahead, Mayor Dave.
Thank you very much. Just to that, it piqued my interest as well, and I recall, and I think this predates the director, but members of council will recall that on Chandler Road, we had a double culvert failure back in 2014. It was replaced not with a concrete whatever, it was just replaced with the double culvert again. So I'd really like more information about this. Why can't we? What is the lifespan? What is the cost? Like, I'd like a bit more specifics. We're talking $3 million here for traffic counts, especially the one, it's $1 million on Poth, and the traffic counts are 54 vehicles a day. Now, it's important, but, you know, it goes back to some of the earlier comments I made, so, in council. So can we just have more information in the next report? What is the cost differential? What is the expected life cost, et cetera? Just want to really ground truth this, I guess, Mr. Chair. Get some more information on it.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Madam Director?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do that.
Okay. Anyone else?
Just
Oh,
one last,
Richard? Yeah.
just one last one, Mr. Chair, and then I'll get off of this. So this is with regard to facilities and beautification, the community center. There's a sentence there that I couldn't understand. Perhaps you can help me. It says, the manager of facilities continues to fold into the design phase of the project more intricately, utilizing experience from dealing with constituent staff and user groups. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
Through you, Mr. Chair, Kim Holland, the manager of facilities and beautification, is now getting more involved in the community center project as it's starting to come into reality, and decisions having to do with the building and the walls and the nuts and bolts. So she brings a lot of experience with having done projects similar to this, and this is the perfect timing to start transitioning into the weeds, if you
Yeah.
will.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I understand that. So she's discussing this with the architects, with the engineers, the contractors.
But through you, Mr. Chair, our CAO continues to be the main contact there, but she's now coming in to be more informed, regularly copied on the information, to have more involvement in the meetings and conference calls and such.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I think it's good that she is. Thank you.
That's all, Councilor?
That is all. Thank you.
No more discussion on this? Oh, I'm sorry.
Pap and-
No,
No.
Councillor
no, just a quick thank you to you for repairing the sidewalks in our ward. Even though I have to tell all of you, and Andrew knows this, Casey walked through the wet cement last week.
So those are his footprints.
Okay, well,
Mr. Chair?
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Mayor?
Couple of quick things, thank you. Yeah, it's great to see some of the sidewalks done throughout the
Great.
entire town,
Great.
and so thank you, kudos to staff for that. The line markings, as crazy as it is, or pavement markings. A bunch of years ago, we had suggested and worked together with members of the community, came up with a suggestion to reduce speed on Pelham Street between Quaker and Pancake, and one crazy idea was not free beer, but rather to reduce the appearance of the pavement width by drawing in lines on either side. I just wondered if that was included, or if perhaps the director could research that. There's a resolution that would be something we do in addition to speed things.
Director?
I most certainly can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And I guess wherever possible, we tried it on Pancake between Effingham and Haste, and it seems to have slowed things down. And we tried it on Hayes Street North, didn't necessarily work there because of the bike lanes, but move that width in as much as possible so the road doesn't feel like one big, landing strip, racetrack, et cetera, is helpful. So I would just ask the director to kind of think about that. Kudos on the new rail crossings. Wow, I wrote here when I read that about the rail crossings and the great work of staff and the innovation, and pleased to hear that Highland is moving ahead. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Okay, motion carries. Motion presented by Councilor Durley, that Policy and Priorities Committee received the June 2016 Recreation, Culture, and Wellness Department report for information. Discussion. There being none, we'll call it to a vote. All those in favor? Okay, we're good. Motion carries. Motion by Councilman Rubiak. The Policy and Priorities Committee received the June 2016 Clerks Department report for information. Discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just want to say thank you very much, Madam Clerk, for looking at electoral reform. There were some articles, I think it was in Municipal World recently about that. It's good to look at, and how it increases the, it's 10 o'clock, sorry. How it increases the turnout of folks, so thank you.
Okay.
And I'll move a motion to extend the meeting just so we can deal with the last item.
Oh, I have a motion by Counselor Durley.
Okay.
Which motion first, that one or this one?
You can take the vote on the Clerk's Department.
Okay, so first, on the policy parties receiving the Clerk's Department report, all those in favor? Thank you, motion carries.
Sorry, I didn't know we were close to 10.
By Counselor Durley.
Okay. A motion put forward by Councillor Durley to extend a curfew till this meeting for 10 minutes. Is that
We
good?
just have one more item.
Oh, okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you, motion carries. And a motion put forward by Councillor Kersey, the Policy and Priorities Committee received the June 2016 Chief Administrative Officer report for information. Discussion? Oh, Councillor.
Just one very
Rubiak.
quick question, since we've given ourselves 10 minutes for this item. With respect to Maple Acre Library, demolition has taken place faster, but nothing else much has been happening since. Is there a quick response to the question as to why?
Defer to Ms. Weens to handle that question.
The application for building permit is in, it's being reviewed. There were some changes required to the plans to meet some building code requirements, and I believe those are supposed to be coming back this week.
Okay.
They started work today, Mr. Chair.
Oh, have they started? Well, good to know.
Site work.
So there is progress, and we're still apparently on track for the plan. It's just that it sat idle for weeks after the big send-off.
Typically, they'll do that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anyone else? Oh, Mayor Dave?
Just great to see the CAO touting some of our excellent staff. Elaine Ronald, whom I think had 37 years, not what was reported in the report. And
Typo,
and
sorry.
Phil Rittenhouse and Julie Hanna as well. for her work. So congratulations to those staff, and especially Ms. Hannah for completing her exams. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anyone, any further comments? Okay, on the motion, all those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
Very quickly, Mr. Chair, I'm very pleased, and I hope at some point the CAO can bring a copy of the building design for Wellspring. I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
At the end of August. I'm looking forward to seeing how that building's been set up. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, call the motion to a vote. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Last one. Okay, again, motion put forward by Councillor Ribbiak that this regular meeting of Policy and Priorities Committee be adjourned until the next regular meeting scheduled for Monday, August 22nd, 2016 at 6:30 PM. All those in favor?
Oh, yeah, we gotta fix it.
He's done. Oh. Meeting adjourned. There we go.
Shortest committee ever.
There
Give
we
the
go.
mayor some lessons, will you?